This programme was established with a purpose in mind, and that is to enable young people to further their own ambitions, but at the same time to make sure that those ambitions are really important to the world and society at large.
We wanted to do something other than just create a really competent lawyer or a really wonderful university professor. We wanted something that would have some impact.
We want to do something that is innovative and imaginative and will grab people's attention and will also do a lot of good.
The mission of the Gates Cambridge Trust is to attract to Cambridge the finest young people intellectually from across the globe. We're trying to get people who are going to prosper intellectually here and go on to greater things.
We expect unique individuals who can make a big contribution in the future.
They're people who are going to do something for the world with their knowledge and with their intelligence.
They've got to have this, what we call the Gates factor, which is that they are committed to improving the lives of others and have got the leadership potential to take on really significant positions in our society in the years ahead. Their previous experience is genuinely humbling. These are people who've just taken a first degree or finishing a first degree, and they've already done extraordinary things around the world.
And they're so engaging, interesting, conscientious, bright.
And those individuals are trusted with going forward and making sure that this world becomes a better place.
A huge input into how the programme has worked out has been made by the students themselves. It was not something that one might have anticipated.
My name's Alex Davies, and here in Cambridge I'm studying what you can understand about people from what they write online. I'm studying this in the engineering department, where I came to study under Zubin Garamani, who's one of the leaders in my field, and I'm studying at Trinity College. In the real world, we have body language, we have all of these subtle cues that help us understand what people are thinking and feeling while we're talking to them. But when you move to the online setting, you lose all of this. So people invented, essentially 20 years ago, emoticons. Anyone who uses email or Facebook will already be familiar with these, the standard smiley face and sad face that you see when you write an email or a message to somebody. If we look to really understand what people mean when they use emoticons, we can understand what people are thinking and feeling when they're writing about things online. We can use this to predict how people feel about politicians, how people feel about movies that are about to be released, and we can predict who's going to win elections and which movies are going to be popular at the box office. The Bureau of Statistics runs their census every 10 years, and in this they have lots of questions on happiness and well-being, but this isn't very frequent. And one of the great things about this technology is that we can get up to the second information about how people are feeling and how they feel on different issues. This is where one of the real benefits of this technology lies. When I visited Cambridge, I knew that this was the department that I had to be in if I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and then the Gates made this possible. Coming into Cambridge and being part of this community of people who have similar goals, similar visions for what they want to do with the world, that's what's really incredible.
I've wanted to be a teacher since the age of 4, since kindergarten. When your teacher asks you, what are you going to be? I said I was going to be a teacher. That urge for teaching never went away. I'm Andrew Adams, and I'm doing a PhD at the Computer Laboratory, and I'm at Emmanuel College. I'm studying human-robot interaction, or social robotics. What we want is for our robots to be socially expressive, so to respond to our own emotions and also to express their own emotions, so that we can actually have a meaningful social interaction with these robots in our homes. And the idea is that this could be used as a tool for children on the autism spectrum as a way to practice recognizing emotions from facial expressions that will hopefully generalize to the real world, to the playground afterwards. You want people to feel comfortable in their own skin. And if that is, if they're really having difficulty with social interaction on a daily basis and it's affecting their lives, then it actually, I think, would be better for them to, be taking maybe some of these lessons and being able to apply them in the real world after learning about it in the therapy session, which is a little less overwhelming for them. I would love to be a professor and have my students aware of what are the implications of the research, what are some applications, how could it be used in other parts of the world, and in terms of the graduate students, I guess, how could their research kind of focus be in a way that reflects the Gates values?
From an early age, I was pretty into science, so just asking why and being one of those annoying kids that ask why. So my name is Neeraj. I'm a PhD student from Canberra, Australia, studying as a Gates Scholar here at the University of Cambridge. My college is Clare Hall. I'm studying for my PhD at the Nanophotonics Centre in the Department of Physics. One thing that I thought physics could do is help make solar panels a bit better and help provide electricity to people who are in remote communities. It's a clean way of making energy. I think it's a climate neutral way of making energy.
So the area that I'm interested in is in using nanophotonics, nanostructures to increase the efficiency of solar cells.
Part of my work and part of recreational is a bit of outreach as well, so I love to get out there and talk to kids and talk to the general public about what we're doing, because I think it's a great thing and an important thing to do for people working in research. If we're not studying things that are exciting and interesting and amazing and relevant to people or to the general public, then we have to think, why are we studying it? Why are we researching it? Every dollar that goes to research is a dollar that can't go to making our hospitals better or fixing our schools or looking after old people or providing clean water to the 2 billion people in the world that don't have access to it. I think it's an amazing challenge, and I think it's a really important thing to focus on is reducing inequality and injustice in this world.
Domestic violence is about power and control. The perpetrator is seeking to control their victim, and it tends to escalate. My name is Hayley Key, and I'm doing a PhD in multidisciplinary gender studies. I'm at King's College, and my PhD is based in the Centre for Gender Studies, which is in the Department of Geography. There isn't really a typical day in my life, but what I will always do in every day is obviously some work. That usually takes place in my college because I like the environment here. I will usually go to a talk or a lecture every day, and I do my dance training every day as well, usually in the evening. My research is about domestic violence against immigrant women, and is very much looking at gaps in the law and what we need to do to better address this sort of intersectional vulnerability which, for example, immigrant women facing domestic violence experience. One of my main motivations is, if I don't do this research, if I don't bring more attention to it, who will? I don't feel like I can stop. I guess I feel a responsibility to do as much as I can. My research is very, very applied. It is very directly to do with improving the lives of others. I personally really value working together with people from all over the world, and I think it's very, very important to do that if we're ever going to solve the major issues of the world.
My earliest memories of engineering is really working on my bike with my dad as a kid. Every spring, we would get together as a family, strip our bikes all the way down. Bearings would be out, pedals would be off, we'd re-grease everything, scrub everything with a toothbrush, put it all back together so it was ready for the summer. But really, it was those moments where, at heart, I was an engineer for the first time. I'm Orion Welling. I'm studying at the University of Cambridge in the Department of Engineering, looking at efficient engine technologies. I'm at Trinity College and here on a Gates Scholarship. Bike riding has been important to me in a lot of different ways. It's inspired me to get excited about engineering. It's showed me a lot of the world in the cycle touring I've done. And it's also gotten me excited about working on energy-efficient ways to move around. After all, cycling is one of the best. What you're looking at here is a typical engine, something you'd expect to find in a car in the UK. There's an awful lot that could be done to improve the efficiency of this thing right here. I'm looking at one strategy in particular, which is called engine downsizing. If my research can lead to the elimination of pre-ignition and downsized engines, 10 to 12% fuel efficiency gains potentially available with this technology can be realized. The Gates community has just been phenomenal. In a place where I didn't know a lot of people when I first arrived, having the Gates community has really made me feel like from the very beginning I'm here with a group of friends. Feels like a family here in Cambridge.
What makes Gates scholarships different is that no other funding arrangement for postgraduates in Cambridge has a community associated with it.
Tonight we're having an event which we have about twice a term. It's the Internal Symposium, where scholars from the community from a wide range of subjects get the opportunity to come and share their research with their fellow scholars.
What's great about the symposiums is that's the place where you actually get to see these people come together and share what they do. And those are discussions that I don't think you would normally have within your departments or sometimes even within your colleges.
It's lovely to see people really passionate about their research and just being so into it.
I think these are probably the most important activities that we can take part in.
I think it's really useful to see the sorts of work that people are doing, and also because it renews your sense of responsibility to help in whatever way you can.
There's the old saying that the real work gets done after the formal work's finished. That is definitely true in the Gates community.
Even when Gates scholars get together, in a kind of pub environment, we often do end up talking about our research.
My name is Marie Brunet.
And I'm Margaret Carpenter, and we're social officers on the Gates Council. And tonight we've organized an event to celebrate the leap year at Tabouche. The thing about Cambridge is that everyone is working so hard all the time that it's so nice to have a night just to get together and wind down and relax a little bit.
We are one of the only scholarships that really has a sense of community and a social life that is quite important.
It's nice to get together on a more informal level and not only talk about what we do subject matter-wise, but what we do life-wise.
Between us, we usually call this the Gates family.
You're given this massive opportunity. You're surrounded by people who are all rising to the new expectations of them, and that lifts you up with everyone else and kind of makes you stretch yourself further than you imagined you could go.
The Gates Scholarship Programme is now 10 years old. This is a fantastic achievement in its own right. And when I think of the number of Gates scholars who've already been through the University of Cambridge, we're seeing many of them already taking up important leadership roles.
My name is Arne Mortiani. I'm working with the Environmental Technologies Fund, which is an investment fund that invests in environmental companies. We are supporting companies that help the world become more resource efficient. Where I am now is a consequence of Cambridge and maybe even specifically of the Gates Cambridge Scholarship. Because what I'm doing now has to do with technology, it has to do with business, and it has to do with entrepreneurial leadership. Being a Gates Scholar helped me build a network of people that were great to hang out with in Cambridge and are great to hang out with now, but also now they help me to get access to areas that I normally would not have access to. So I really built a valuable network out of the Gates community.
We really try to encourage that once you leave Cambridge, it doesn't end there. They are able to continue developing this network through a variety of events that we run. These events are great opportunities for alumni to get together, keep connections strong, as well as remember their time in Cambridge.
And the Gates Scholarship is why Robin and I are here, basically, and why OneLeap is here. I met Robin, my co-founder, at the end of one of these dinners. I invited her down to talk about her new best-selling book as a recent alumnus.
And then we talked about business, and we talked about a kind of shared philosophy of business and our interest in entrepreneurs and innovation.
And we just got talking about what we wanted to do to create something business-wise and the sort of impact we wanted to have. And we just hit it off.
And when the idea, the genesis of OneLeap, crystallized a few months later, the first person I thought of calling was Hamish. And partly that was because of who he was, but there's also a sense of trust around anyone who gets into the Gates Scholarship.
Business, for me, is about creating something that you're proud of and having an impact with that.
OneLeap is about democratizing access to opportunity, based not on who you know or where you're from, but based on your commitment to your ideas and the quality of those ideas.
Democratizing access, right? That's a pretty big, ambitious idea, and that could help everything. It could help human rights, it could help education, it could help health. Everybody needs access to key people to get going, no matter what project they want to pursue. And that has been our drive. And if it hadn't been for that dinner, if it hadn't been for that fortuitous meeting, if it hadn't been for that Gates connection, we wouldn't have built what we've built today.
They tell me that they make friendships for life, which go over and beyond their narrow disciplinary or even collegiate communities. that grounding and that rooting in the Gates community at Cambridge, I think, is the basis for a real network in the future.
The need for strong brands in academic space is only growing, and that's because global competition is growing. Every academic organisation wants the best people to come to their institution. It is a bit of a war, really, just like it is in many other sectors, but certainly I observe in academic space there's a lot of emerging global competition. Cambridge University is at the top of the game. It wants to stay there, and I believe Gates Cambridge, with a powerful brand and a powerful brand identity, will achieve that. Brands can't just be marks, they just can't be pretty pictures. So it's very much what I was attracted to by the whole first conversation I had with Gates Cambridge is how much there was in the brand. The brand was a big, rich brand on the inside, but it somehow hadn't come out on the outside. The first thing I look for with brands is make them as simple as possible, make them as clear and as powerful as possible. And that's why very quickly out of the first discussion, I was of the opinion that we had two fantastically strong words here, Gates and Cambridge. And in combination, this was going to be a very, very formidably powerful brand in the world.
The colours of flame, which are red, yellow, orange, are the same colours of Cambridge University. So we've got, if you add in the dark grey, semiotically, these things feel joined at the hip.
It's also important when the students have finished their education with Gates Cambridge that they have a strong, confident brand behind them to enable them to fulfil their potential in the world as well. So it's not only important for recruitment, it's important for fulfilment at the other end as well.
The Gates scholarships are the most prestigious international scholarships that Cambridge offers. It can only enhance Cambridge's own profile.
Those who come here to the United Kingdom obviously also leave their imprint on the United Kingdom as a whole. You cannot have enough bright people from around the world coming to a country and for the country not to benefit.
The impact on Cambridge is going to be that we'll have more and more graduates out there in the world and in very important places.
I would expect in the future to see Gates scholars absolutely everywhere.
If we ever need an expert on anything, someone who's changing the world in a particular field, there'll be almost inevitably a Gates alum who's doing that.
It's a little early for any college presidents or prime ministers or whatever.
Oxford is associated with Rhodes, but they've had a century to make that association. The Gates scholars have only been going for 10 years. I will make a bet that in due course, Gates scholars will win Nobel Prizes, they will become heads of state, they will take on important roles in society.
There will be important things happen in the world or in some particular country or place as a result of the intelligence and energy of a Gates scholar. My son and his wife have done a very thoughtful and intelligent thing to fund this particular program. It's very promising and it's very exciting.